All right, we have a trans problem in this country. There, I said it. Why is it that anytime there's a shooting by a white guy, it's, oh, all guns are bad and white nationalism is a problem. But when it's a black person shooting another black person in places like Chicago, I don't know, 50 times a weekend, not a word in the media. When it's a Muslim shooting up a gay nightclub that gets out of the news real quick. And when it's a trans person shooting up a school or a church, which is also a school, or assassinating a conservative, it's, well, we really don't have a motive yet, guys.
Senator, but one moment, because you said a lot there, and we don't have a motive yet. We don't know yet. We're waiting. Obviously, we've heard what the governor's had to say, what the FBI director said today.
Come on, we don't have a motive yet.
We know
we don't have a motive yet.
What's happening with
really? That's CNN's position.
I had to really struggle to understand all of the details around those bullets. They are internet memes from video games that people way younger than us play.
5 days after Charlie Kirk's murder, the shooter's motive remains elusive. No writings left behind, vague secondhand testimony.
I'm sorry, what? No writings left behind? I mean, journalisming to the max, John Dickerson. He wrote the stuff on the bullet casing. And they were not cryptic like CNN was saying. There was a note under the keyboard, and there were text messages saying why he did. You people, why are all these people looking for any reason to absolve the trans factor from this assassination? I mean, call me too simple, but if there was a problem, like, wouldn't you want to know there's a problem, like know a little bit about it, maybe have some background on it, maybe, I don't know, address it? No, not people like John Dickerson. Then they made this out to be a story of love.
There are people who are trying to pigeonhole this as a leftist thing and a right thing. And what we're really talking about, hear me because I'm going to throw you when I say this. We're talking about a love-torn child, a kid. This is probably his first real relationship. And somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He tried to defend his significant other.
Oh, for Pete's sake, is this guy serious? So by that logic, Montel, I mean, would you give me the same ideological pass on CNN if I shot someone who insulted my wife? I mean, fat chance you would. He'd be calling me some domestic terrorist and an angry white man who shot someone in the street for their opinion. I guarantee that. Him and 50 other people in the media are making this about it's a love story, some sick, twisted, trans, furry love story. And this is the party that already excuses crime for any protected group. Look, take one. BLM burns down cities. Here.
I feel the frustration of what's happening in the community, and I think it's a symptom. The uprisings are a symptom of a pressure that's been unaddressed for too long.
I mean, this is like in the wake of the Freddie Gray riots, too. See how this works? The left tells certain people that they're oppressed and that they're victims. And anyone who tries to convince them otherwise is, oh, you're marginalizing them and insulting them. They're stirring up immense rage among their protected and favored classes, races, and groups in America. And then telling that same group that because they're angry, that their violence, their disorder, and their protest is therefore somehow justified to any ends possible. I mean, this is such BS. Case in point, another group of liberal sideshows. This week, here, a bunch of people, probably unemployed leftists, standing outside the New York courthouse cheering. They were cheering for Luigi Mangione having his charges reduced to second-degree murder for assassinating a healthcare CEO. No news coverage of how uncivilized this is. Because those people outside that courthouse were told by special interest groups that they're entitled to free health care. And evil CEOs like the one that was murdered are standing in the way of that. Again, how is this? How is the right responsible for any of this and the left not responsible for darn near all of it? They take marginalized people, these big left think tanks, well-funded groups. They take marginalized people, they pit them against someone else, they rile up all their anger, and then they run cover for them as victims when they do whatever. Then deny any of the social or criminal problems that you could clearly and conclusively trace right back to those groups. And anytime someone brings it up, it's right-wing propaganda, and then they dismiss it. I was looking for studies the other day of transgender crime when this whole thing happened. And today, the initial search I had when I typed it in came back with this. Data on crime perpetration by transgender individuals is extremely limited and often controversial due to small sample sizes and potential biases in reporting. Potential bias in reporting. Small sample size. Well, in fact, There are virtually no peer-reviewed studies that show any downside to trans medical procedures. There's a ton that are just like wildly swinging, saying it's great, but there's very few that say it's bad. And why is that? Not because there isn't any data. We know there is. It's because no one wants to review them. Because anyone who actually does any study on how bad trans is for an actual youth or human or whatever, or really any protected group, gets removed from the medical community, or those studies get buried. Sometimes people refuse to publish them or whatever. How can you, this is what gets me. How can you sit there and tell me that a group that has a nearly 50% suicide rate does not have some sort of mental stability problems that we should be looking into? No, we never have that conversation. And it's not like there aren't folks trying to study this stuff. The social justice machine of the left is just blocking them from being completed or published or publicized. So, just as simply so the people chopping kids' body parts off can continue to make a ton of money off of it. And then go on TV and say to people like me who think that there is a problem, oh, well, you don't have any data or to support widespread mental illness in the trans community. You're a bigot. Nope. Meanwhile, even like halfway sane person is like, hey, didn't we just have one shoot up a school in Nashville, another one in Minnesota, which was also a church, and now we got one that shot Charlie Kirk because he thought, because the machine told him that he was making fun of his trans boyfriend. A few others sprinkled in there too. But the bigger problem is that these people, trans folk, are very vulnerable. They are seeking an identity, sometimes attention, and they're all hopped up on hormones or whatever else. And what we are now finding out is that there may have been as many as 20 other people involved in this assassination.
I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate. Who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
I mean, it's probably, here, I'll stick to my original assumption on the day this happened. It's probably not some super organized like crime syndicate, but when some armed trans group has to take down their webpage in the wake of this shooting, like, I got some questions. That's a great place to start. Maybe the 7,000 people that signed the petition that said they didn't want Charlie on campus, another great list to start at. But this group, Armed Queers for Salt Lake City, a group that advocates for defending trans rights with force, pictures with guns, and trans flags. Here, from their own X account, which is now taken down, the Armed Queers are a socialist LGBTQ organization dedicated to the defense and success of oppressed people's movements. You are not oppressed in America. I mean, you could see how, if you have 90% of the media telling those types of people on that now taken down website that misgendering is a hate crime and saying people like Charlie Kirk despise you, you could see how somebody who's mentally unstable or on SSRIs and antidepressants and all kinds of hormones and desperately looking to belong to something, you might see that he might be celebrated for doing something like he did. I mean, one could see how this scenario might have come to happen, and instead of admitting there might be a problem with it, the media and Democrats and a ton of other folk would rather just cover it up, blaming it on Charlie for inflaming the rhetoric against trans people, when in fact, this is the actual message that Charlie had for trans people.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like, with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not, what's helpful, because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body. Mm-hmm. I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis. Mm-hmm. Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
But this was the general coverage of what they thought Charlie said. This is from the left. Here, look. Charlie Kirk railed against transgender rights. His killing has further fueled the fight. Did that look like railing to me? You see why me and people on my side of the political equation might tend to want to blame the left for this? It's not unreasonable, because the reality and the liberal narrative are pretty different. I mean, you saw Charlie's own words there. But this is the problem. And this is why the other night I said I am done with dialogue with these people, because that is how they cover dialogue. Anything short of celebrating their absolute insanity on whatever issue. If I disagree with them even a little bit, I'm mean, I'm bigoted, hateful, racist, and even violent. So if you want to go around telling people that I would classify as mentally ill, that I'm committing violence for calling them the gender as they were born, it's you guys who are stirring up hate, not me. And again, I'm done playing this stupid game. Somebody's just got killed.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.